Space whales? Nope, rather deal with devils. Chapter 22, Fan Fiction by Azazyel. As Serafall, Sona, and I shared a quick breakfast, with a sort of heavy atmosphere, I realized I was kinda looking at my world traveling in the wrong way. Sure, I could get powerful magical abilities and such from other worldlines, but in reality, nothing was saying I couldn't acquire powerful pieces of technology so long as they wouldn't eventually become a crutch that would hamper me in the future, as they would leave a critical weakness. Honestly, nothing was stopping me from taking the Crisis suit from Crisis and the Ceph Tech, which were both higher forms of technology with weird, insane abilities that allowed the technological wonders to grow. To say nothing of how I could try to have mad geniuses like Ajuka try to enchant the technology as well. One day, I have a dream of locking Ajuka from here in DXD, to Bane from Infinite Stratos, and Tony Stark into a room to have them make me a super suit, but that would probably lead them to making a mech that would kick my ass. Either way, a man could dream. So we ready to go? I asked, taking a breath to strengthen my willpower. With Serafall shared a look with Sona, who rolled her eyes dramatically, but there was no hiding the love shared between the sisters as they hugged, with Sona whispering for Serafall to be careful. And you be careful too, Jake, Sona said softly as she walked over and gave me a tight hug, and then like a fussy wife she straightened out my cool uniform she had me wearing as a form of solidarity as well as to blend in more easily in the next world, as most of the time it took place around the girls' school. I smiled gently and pulled Sona into a one-armed hug. I kissed her on her forehead as Serafall took my wrist. I will be careful, Sona. We will literally be back before you know it, as only seconds at most will pass between worlds. I finished with Sona, visibly nodding with relief at not having to wait for a full week on her end for us to come back. With that said, it was time. A crackle rang out through the office building, an eldritch hellish-tinged energy coursed through the building that even with my psio-boosted magical knowledge and talent, I could barely even scrape the vaguest idea of how this portal worked. But worked it did, as a purple-toned portal formed in front of us, with on the end being an utterly massive school that put Kuo Academy to shame. As we walked through the portal, Madoka's school was a clear icon to this world's altered timeline of Earth, and how it was clearly slightly technologically advanced by a good couple if not 3-something decades, with simple holograms being everyday things. Do we go straight to the school? Serafall asked, frowning, as we didn't really have an iron plan on how to find Madoka and the others, as we had no true addresses or something so convenient beyond our knowledge that Madoka's father was basically a house husband while her mother worked a corporate job and was kinda a drunk. But hunting for Madoka seemed to be going more easily as it seemed. With how it was still morning as well in this world, Serafall was able to see some of the students going up the hill leading up to the school. Oh. I got an idea. Serafall said excitedly, and then she snapped her fingers, and sparkling light formed across our clothes that made our clothes match the same uniforms. And from there, I had an idea as well. Good idea, Serafall. But let's try first to hypnotize the staff working administration to get into the school more officially and find out which classroom Madoka is within. I added to her plan, to which she nodded. And honestly, it was stupidly easy, as Serafall and all supernatural by and large, in the world of DXD had spells that reflected light slightly off them so cameras and other video recording software couldn't pick up on us at all. Along with another spell to go along with it that put out an ever so slight white noise over our own noises, we made that would silence them towards technology that wasn't attuned to magic. So we were a ghost going into the school according to the security systems, and with Serafall hypnotizing the humans with zero magical resistance in the slightest, within minutes, we had our names put down and listed within Madoka's class. And there she was. Along with her friends, Sayaka and Hamura, sitting in the back of the class looking edgy as hell as she stared dully forwardly without doing anything. Until she realized we came in, and her eyes bugged out wide. Seeing her mouth gaping open in surprise at our appearance. Along with her having her iconic long straight hair and foregoing her glasses made it was clear that this was one of her new timelines and that we were almost certainly in the core timeline in which Madoka Magica occurred within. Which was a load off my mind, but then as Serafall and I entered and the teacher made new seats rise up from the floor for us to take, what I feared and I was most excited for occurred. Happened within a split moment of white fur blurring into motion. Atop my desk, seemingly staring into my very soul like I was the most curious enigma. No, a complete impossibility at all, and his mind was a monster of a mascot in the shape of a cat-like fox plushy thing. The evil of this universe and the cause of literal suffering condensed into a solid physical form that was so terrible that the condensed feelings could be used literally to reverse the entropy of the complete universe. It was QB who landed atop my desk. But merely staring at me was not all it was seemingly interested in doing. I flinched as I felt an utterly alien mind touch upon my very soul, and I snorted with my own mana, and the seal of Solomon in particular snapping at the mind with QB shuddering as my mana boosted the lashing chain of destructive soul energies, smashing away his mind with Madoka and Sayaka also flinching. "Don't touch my mind," I whispered coldly as I eyed the rat with disdain. Sure, I wanted to use it to get a wish, but if I had to choose between getting a wish and instead killing this abomination, I would need to think about that choice honestly. Sensing my general hostile stance, the QB tilted its head to the side before shrugging and then hopped back over to Madoka, but I noticed how it kept on looking between me and Madoka for some reason. While the girls were looking at Serafall warily for some reason,